Hey guys, welcome back to A Little Less Lisa. If you're new here, my name is Lisa and this channel is all about my health, wellness, fitness, and weight loss maintenance at the moment journey. This video is my weekly check-in where I tell you all about how my week went, how my eating went, how the scale went, all those kind of things. So let's see how week 34 went. So a couple of things before we get started into my week. First of all, my protein coffee. I've had several of you in the last couple of videos, because I think I've been drinking it during the videos, ask me how I make my protein coffee. I have a couple of what I eat in a day videos up on my channel. I will have them linked in the cards up above, and I'll try to remember to link it in the description box below as well. But if you go to the first one, I did a whole the whole beginning of that video is how I make my protein coffee. So if you want to know how I make it, check out that video. The second is, before I get into my week, let me just, for those of you who might be new, like I said, my name is Lisa, and I started on my weight loss journey back in the very end of March. I can never remember if it was the 28th or the 29th, but basically the end of March. So like I said, this is week 34. And when I say week 34, I'm on week 34 of taking a GLP-1 medication. So like I said, I started back in the end of March and I take compounded tirzepatide. I started obviously like everybody does at 2.5 milligrams. I went up to 5. That was a bit much for me. I got super sick for a week, so I backed down to 2.5. And then the nice thing about compound, obviously, is that you can, play around with your dose a little bit. Obviously, you want to do that in consultation with your healthcare provider, which for me, my telehealth provider or my healthcare provider that I use to get my compounded tirzepatide is Fridays Health. Many of you know that I am an advocate for Fridays Health, so if you are looking for a telehealth provider, I think you can find no better telehealth provider, in my opinion. I was a patient before I became an advocate for them. So if you're interested in saving $20 off of your first month with Fridays Health, use the code LISA. It's always linked in my description box down below. But like I said, highly recommend them. And one of the things, like I said, that I love about obviously taking compound is that I can adjust my dosage maybe as needed, like I said, with talking with my provider at Fridays Health. So I backed, like I said, down to 2.5 for a week, and then I went and did 3.75, so basically halfway between the 2.5 and the 5 milligram dose. I did 3.75 for a couple weeks, and then I went up to 5, and I've basically been at 5 ever since. I did try, when I was first starting to go into maintenance, to back down to 2.5. I felt like I was getting a lot of food noise again, and so I ended up talking again with my Fridays Health provider, and we decided to try going back up to 5 milligrams. And it was obviously contingent on the fact that I really wasn't going to lose any more weight based on being that. And I've really done a pretty good job of maintaining. So that's where I'm at. Like I said, I never went above 5 milligrams, and that's where I am today. A little bit about me. I am a 57-year-old postmenopausal woman, so I've gone through all of those things, and that was what was, I think, really causing me to struggle with losing this weight, was being postmenopausal and my hormones not being very well regulated and being insulin resistant and all of that. And so being on a GLP-1 medication just made it so much easier for me to do what I needed to do, right? Which was change my diet, make sure that I was in calorie deficit, working out, and with the help of that GLP-1 medication, I was able to do that. So I have lost a little over 50 pounds. It took me about 20 weeks, I think, or so, maybe 26 weeks. I think I got to 40 pounds at 20 weeks because that was my original goal. And then I decided I wanted to go a little bit lower. So I lost about another 10 pounds. And I think that took me, like I said, maybe another 5-6 weeks or so to lose that 10 pounds. And like I said, I have been maintaining ever since. So that's who I am. That's my story. And yeah, let's get into week 34. So week 34 was fairly uneventful. I will say I did not do a good job of tracking. In fact, I don't think I tracked at all. I think I maybe tracked some water one day, and that was about it. So as far as that being a goal of mine this week, especially now that my mom was gone and I was sort of back into more of a routine and, making dinners again and that kind of thing, I didn't track it. And I need to be better about that so I can really focus on that, especially with coming up on vacation. I really want to make sure that my protein is like on point so that I can really try to continue that as best I can. Water was pretty good. There were, I think, a couple days in there where I got towards the end of the day and I thought, Lisa, you really haven't had that much water today. So kind of got that in towards the end of the day, but generally do pretty well on my water. As far as workouts were concerned, I only worked out 3 times this week. I did 2 strength training workouts. So I did a leg workout and then I did a whole body workout. So one of the things you get as being a patient of Friday's Health is they have a partnership with a fitness app, which is called Sesh. And Sesh did a specific 8-week workout for Friday's Health patients. And I completed the gym version of that. And then I was going to go ahead and start the at-home version of that 8-week workout. But when I went into my app and I was going to start it, I saw that there were actually like 2 other workouts that I could access for free on the Sesh app. And they're both, I think, 2-week programs, and they are full body, I think, every day. Like I guess maybe I shouldn't say that. The one I did was full body. So the one I did before, I think, was my last leg workout from the 8-week program. And then, like I said, I did this full body workout. And then I did one Pilates class with my, favorite yet very, very hard instructor this past week. And yeah, and unfortunately I did it the day after I did that full body workout. And so we were doing something with our core, and like we were doing like these things where we like lean back while you're on the reformer, and oh my God, my abs were shaking like crazy, but I did it. But I could definitely feel they were working hard. Anyway, let's get into the numbers. I also do, by the way, have my measurements, which I totally forgot to do on week 32, I guess, or whatever, the end of week 33, whatever it is, whatever the last end of the last 4 weeks were. And then I realized I had totally forgotten to do them the time before that. Like I totally missed like week 28 or whatever. So anyway, let's get into those numbers. So weight-wise, I was, within my maintenance range again, which was great. Pretty much, I think within maybe like 0.2 pounds of what I had been the week before. Honestly, I don't even remember if I was 0.2 up or down. I mean, it was right in, whatever the pound part was, which is kind of all I pay attention to be very honest with you. It was the same as whatever it was last week. So yeah, pretty much, I'm doing the thing. I'm on my medication and I am maintaining, and I think that is fantastic. As far as medication goes, I waited quite a bit to take this last dose. So I think the last time I took my medication, I went 9 days, I think, in between doses. My plan was to go 10 days between doses this time, but frankly, I just forgot to take it on day 10. So I ended up taking it yesterday. So I went 11 days. Now I will say that yesterday I definitely felt hunger. Now part of that was probably that I had had my protein coffee, and actually now that I think about it, not even really my whole protein coffee. David and I went actually to go get my ring. So I will do a video maybe separately on that to show you the ring. So for those of you who may be wondering what I am talking about, and yeah, I'm not wearing a ring. I am married, but one of my huge non-scale victories was agreeing, I don't even know how to say that, but feeling good about doing a renewal ceremony with my husband. So we had talked several years ago about renewing our vows, and to be very honest with you, I just put that on the back burner and never talked about it again because I wasn't comfortable in my body. And so if you go back, I'll try to remember to link that video too. But honestly, it's probably my biggest non-scale victory that I am so thrilled and so excited to do this renewal ceremony. So one of the reasons I got a new ring was because the rings that I had been wearing were basically falling off of my finger. They were too big. The rings I had been wearing in the past were actually just cubic zirconia because I think I mentioned this in my previous video. My actual engagement ring we had sent to get appraised, and then he got it back and he had it in like a little plastic baggie in his pants pocket. It got delivered to his office, and somehow in between his office and getting home, it got lost. So we were building a new home at the time, and I was like, you know what, just use the insurance money for, let's put it towards the house. Like, I don't need a new diamond. Like, it was fine. I'm like, I'll just get a cubic zirconia. It's kind of fun. I sort of sometimes feel like rings are kind of like my hair. Like, it's fun to like change sizes and change shapes and all those kind of things. And obviously if you spend a whole bunch of money on an actual diamond, like, you can't really do that, right? So anyway, I guess I sort of felt like that my ring for probably it was like 2018, I think, when that happened, because we moved into our house in 2019. So yeah, I think it was 2018. So basically for 6 years, I've just kind of been wearing different, like I said, different shapes and different sizes. And anyway, like I said, I kind of thought about it. It's sort of like I said, now that I think about it, it's kind of like my hair now. So just fun to try different things. But anyway, all of those were like getting too big. And so since we were talking about it, I said, hey, what about if we actually got me another actual engagement ring? And so yeah, we did. So we went down, I've talked about this, we went down to the Diamond District, and I'll talk about that in the video. But anyway, I did get my ring, so that was something fun this week, and we did that yesterday is my point. I went totally off track on this, sorry. But the point of telling you that was that we were out, and then I was vlogging some things for my other channel, and I didn't end up eating at all from when we left at probably like noon until we got home at 6:30, something like that. And so I hadn't eaten all day. So maybe some of my hunger was attributed to that. But I will say that generally when my medication is like full force, like on point, I don't really feel that much hunger. So I definitely felt hunger yesterday. So that reminded me, I was like, oh, you know what? I think you need to take your medication. And honestly, guys, I almost didn't take it yesterday either. Like, I was I had taken off my makeup, I had washed my face, I was like doing my skincare, and I keep my vial of medicine actually in my little skincare fridge that sits on my makeup desk. And so when I opened it, I was like, oh God, you need to take your medicine. So anyway, I finally did, like I said, on day 11. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'll try going to 12 or yeah, I guess maybe I will. Maybe I'll go 12 days next time. I don't know. We'll see how it kind of falls with my vacation and travel and all that kind of thing. So anyway, so that was the deal with the scale. So let's talk about my measurements. Like I said, I took them basically kind of a week late. Part of that was because I forgot, and also part of that was because my tape measure, my Renpho tape measure that came with my scale wasn't working anymore. I tried replacing the battery. It didn't help it at all. I don't know why. It just died. I have no idea. But my point is I had to order a new one. So I ordered a new one, took my measurements. I also did take some new pictures. So I will put just probably a side-by-side of like my very beginning picture and what my picture looks like now. And everything seems to be breaking in our house. I just realized this. So I normally print off my spreadsheet of my measurements, and now our printer isn't working either, which also is not great because I need to ship something and I have to print out a label. And anyway, it did actually just come from Amazon. I just picked it up earlier this morning. So, but it's not plugged in. So I just kind of wrote some things down on this Post-it pad. So I'm not going to give you exact or any kind of, like I said, exact measurements because I'll just kind of give you an overview. So from the last time I took measurements, which would have been, I guess, week 24. So this is essentially 8 weeks difference, okay? Because like I said, I even went back in my Renfo app just to double check that. I thought maybe I just forgot to put them in my spreadsheet, but no, the last time I measured was in September, like the end of September or something. So 8 weeks ago. So bottom line is I lost basically just a teeny bit over 5 inches. We're just going to call it 5 inches. So 5 inches total. So where I measure both arms. I measure my chest just around like the fullest part of my chest. I don't measure underneath, like under there. I measure my waist. I measure my hips. I measure each thigh and I measure each calf. So I'm just going to tell you kind of where the majority of that 5 inches came from. I lost 1.3, I think it was slightly over, but basically 1.3 inches in my waist. I lost approximately 3/4 of an inch in each thigh. And then I lost 1.25 inches in my hips. So like I said, you add those up and I lost, like I said, a little bit in each arm and a little bit in each calf and a little bit in my chest and all that, like I said, added up to 5 inches. And I just realized that I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure I remember that took me then to, I think, 50 inches. If I'm wrong about that number, I will pop it up here in a title bar. But I think if I remember correctly, when I added it, when I did like the grand total so far, I'm pretty sure it was right around like almost exactly maybe 50 inches, which is awesome. That seems like a lot though, doesn't it? 50 inches? That's interesting. 50 inches, 50 pounds. Anyway, like I said, I'll put it here if it was different than that. Otherwise, that was probably all I have to note. Like I said, I took my injection in my right thigh. My current dosage right now, because of the new pharmacies and the fact that they're, trying to be cognizant of not violating FDA rules and things. So they're compounding in sort of different doses that can be obtained from just the regular, branded medication. So instead of 5 milligrams, I believe that my dosage is 4.5 right now. So a little bit less than 5. So the fact that I've been taking 4.5 and have gone 11 days without, like I said, without a ton of food noise and things, I think is great. So I'm happy about that. That hopefully means that I can stretch some of my medicine out even farther than I have, which is nice because things are a little precarious in the compound world at the moment. So I think that's about it. I don't know that I really have any like true non-scale victories that I can think of. I do think it's kind of fun that I now have what we call thigh gap. That's something I don't think I've ever had, maybe ever in my life, I don't think. So that's kind of fun. I don't know that that's necessarily like super new, like it didn't just happen this week, but I don't know that I've mentioned it before. The other things I will say are things that I've noticed that are not so great, like the fact that when I sit on the subway and if I lean back, or basically anytime I lean back on something that's like hard, so like subway seats are a hard plastic, my spine, like, oh my gosh, like I lean back and it's so uncomfortable. And also my tailbone. Has anybody else experienced that? I remember this same issue when I lost that significant amount of weight. It was almost 90 pounds back in 2005, 2006, that at some point, and I've experienced it like again for a while, but I'm just noticing it more and more these days. It seems like that every time I sit down, my tailbone is so uncomfortable. I'm definitely gonna have to sit on a pillow when we're flying to Asia, because that is, now when we fly there, we're flying to, like, I think we change planes in Paris, so we break it up. But that second flight, I think is like 12 hours, something like that. It's a long flight. So I think I might have to sit on a pillow, but we'll see. Like I said, I'll give you a whole recap of how the trip went as it relates to traveling with the medicine and eating and all that thing when I get back. But yeah, like I said, I think that's it. Definitely share in the comments below how your week went. I always love hearing how your journeys are going, so definitely leave those in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, I would love it if you would give it a thumbs up. It does help the YouTube algorithm, and if you have not seen enough of my face yet, then there'll be another video over in the corner for you to watch. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.